It's Cavemas! Hi everyone and welcome back to the Colour Cave where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and I am delighted to welcome you to the third annual Cavemas celebration. This is 12 days of daily videos, so from this moment you will have a video every day until the 1st of January, and it's just an excuse for me to wear silly clothes, do a lot of art stuff and give stuff away. So that's the plan. There will be 3 giveaways this Cavemas. All of the giveaways are open until close of play on the 29th of December. So it doesn't matter which ones you enter, you must have your entries in by close of play on the 29th or else you will not be in with a chance of winning some of the goodies that we've got to give away this year. For me, this time of year, although Christmas is a celebrated holiday in Scotland, I don't really think of it like that. For me, it's a time to spend with family. It's one of the only times where my family are all together in one place, and I just love that. And I love the fact that it's the end of the year and we can reflect on how far we've come personally and, you know, really sort of be grateful and thankful for what we do have. Now, this year in particular has been rough for everyone, and also that opportunity to have a fresh start on the 1st of January. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm so glad that you guys are joining me and I hope that you enjoy the videos. Not all of the videos are festive videos. I do like to be inclusive, and Cavemas is non-denominational, so there are more regular videos. When I say regular videos, I mean no Santa hats and all that kind of jazz. And I just want to keep you entertained if you have some time off over this festive period. If you want to get festived out your eyeballs, there are the 2 previous Cavemases on separate playlists. If you head to the playlist tab on the channel, you can watch them and you can jingle your bells until your heart's content. As is the grand tradition on day 1 of Cavemas, we always have a giveaway and we always do some colouring in Johanna's Christmas by Johanna, and it's just a lovely way to ease us into that festive spirit. So hang around to the end of the video if you are interested in the giveaway. In the meantime, let's get to top down view for some colouring and we can get going. Okay, so here we are back in Johanna's Christmas. I literally only colour in this at Christmas time, but that's fine, that's what it's for. And I have picked this page with this cute little polar bear, and he's got quite a stack of gifts going on there. So I'm going to be using Polychromos pencils today. Before we get started with the pencils, I'm quite a fan of a black background, and I remember that we did a black background last year. So we're going to go dark blue and we're going to put in some nice effects with pastel in the background at the end. So in order to get this background exactly the way I want it, I have got Winsor & Newton Galleria. I never know how to pronounce that. I don't think it's Galleria because I'm sure Galleria's got 2 L's in it. Galleria acrylic, and this is the Prussian blue hue, and I am literally going straight out the tube with this what is wrong with me today? I haven't been at the eggnog, I promise. With this filbert shaped brush, and I've got a larger brush here for some of the bigger areas as well, and that's just a normal flat brush. So we're going to get this done and then we'll get on to the slightly more interesting part. So I'll zoom in a wee bit. I don't want to get zoomed in too much. Now there is a perforation here, but I am going to take the acrylic as far into the spine as I can get because I don't really plan on pulling this out. So literally just going to grab some of this off the tube, and I'm going to go right to left because I'm left-handed. If you're right-handed you can go in the opposite direction, and we'll just get a layer of this down and see what it looks like. It will probably need 2 coats. Obviously I will not subject you to to 2 coats of this in the video, but I just wanted you to see it going down and see what it looks like. Now it will look quite patchy, that's okay. And I've got my little brush here. It's my little dinky brush, just to get in round these edges. There we go. Right, so you get the gist of where I'm going with this. I'll just carry on and get all this done and I'll catch you guys up in just a bit. And there we have it. That is the first coat done. It is going to need a second coat, which I will not subject you to. And by the magic of editing, if I go like this, ta-da! So there we go. That's us. We are all done. So I've kept my brush strokes in an up and down capacity, and you'll see why later on when we get to the end. It does kind of look black on the camera. If I just tilt it in the light, you can see it as a very dark blue, and it's dry enough now that I can take away this copy paper that I had just to catch all the excess paint around the edges. So I've got my good old Polychromos here. I feel as if I've been kind of neglecting these pencils a wee bit lately. I've been using lots of different brands for different things, so I felt it was about time to come back. So my thinking with the actual composition of the picture, what I would like to do is keep the colours quite light and bright. Obviously that contrasts well with this background. There are a few places where I've had a few boo-boos. One is up here, and I had a smudgy hand thing going on down here. I don't know how that happened, but these are easily fixable, not things to stress myself out about. And I want to start down the bottom with the water, and I'm going to start with cobalt turquoise. So we'll just get this started off, just doing my thing, doing what I normally do, and that is to get a base layer of colour down. With the renovations that have been going on in the house, our house is basically just a permanent state of chaos, which doesn't really suit me, if I'm honest. I don't cope well with chaos. It's things have come together quite nicely, apart from our kitchen, which has taken a lot longer just because of the COVID restrictions. Things are very, very slow. But I'm hoping to have an entire kitchen by the 25th of December. We are not getting our kitchen floor fitted until the 23rd. And our fridge freezer, we have like a little kind of dinky one just now, and that was only ever a temporary measure until we started redoing the kitchen. So our new fridge freezer is here, but we can't put it in. It's a freestanding one, it's not an integrated one. So we have to have the floor down before we can put the fridge freezer in its final resting place, so to speak. So as it stands, the Christmas food, like our festive food for our main meal on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, I have no idea where I'm going to put the stuff when it arrives next week. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem. But apart from that, everything's fine. Everything's okay. But I'm just trying not to let it stress me out. We are under very, very strict social distancing measures, and they have been relaxed in the UK for 5 days over Christmas. So Mama and Papa Jem will be here for Christmas, which is really nice. We weren't sure whether that was going to happen or not. And Mr. Jem will be going to Ireland. His parents stay in the south of Ireland, and he will be going over to see them in the new year. But he is going in a carer's capacity. Mr. Jem's dad has been very, very unwell, as has Papa Jem, actually. I've not really talked about this. It's one of the reasons I've been incredibly stressed out for the past few months. But Mr. Jem's dad, I don't know what to call him, father-in-law Jem, I don't know. Anyway, he has had major heart surgery, and it was very unexpected. It was very sudden, and he was very unwell. Mr. Jem is going over to help out because they have animals as well. They milk goats. So Mr. Jem is going over to milk the goats until his dad is well enough to get back outside. So he will be on the mend by that point, by the time he goes over, but he won't be fit to go out and do everything that needs doing. So Mr. Jem's just going over to give his mum a break, because she's been doing everything, and just really help him out as best he can. So that'll be nice for him, but it'll also give him the chance to spend some one-on-one time with his dad, because it's not something he gets to do very often. And I'm always very encouraging, about him going over, and I kind of try and persuade him to go over, force him to go sometimes. I'm like, go and spend time with your parents. I'm quite capable of holding the fort here, and the boys the boys that work here are, they're really good. They know what they're doing, and they know they can come ask me for help if that's what they need. Just mid-sentence, I'm switching over to blue violet here. There's lots of little dots. I don't know if you can see them or not, just at the edge of the water. I'm just going to start adding in very gently in little sort of circular motions a little bit of this purple. So yeah, under normal circumstances, because we are going back to our normal COVID restrictions. Have you ever heard such a ridiculous sentence? After this sort of grace period at Christmas. So I will not be going with Mr. Jem. Plus as well, they don't need all these people in the house because we would have to take the dogs with us as well. So yeah, they don't need that. So I'm just going to stay at home with the dogs, hold the fort here while Mr. Jem goes and bees a farmer somewhere else. It's a shame though because I actually quite like milking the goats. It's different. And they're really tame as well. Like, they're really good girls. They're really nice. They're very, we would say they're very petted, you know, they're very tame. And Mr. Jem's dad, like, has the radio on for them so they don't get lonely, and they get brushed and stuff like this. So they're very docile. They're nice girls. It's not a hassle, it just takes time. You know, you've got to, I think there's only milking 2 at a time, and one's on a little handheld milking machine and the other ones are milked by hand. So it's just a process that you go through. But it's kind of cool. I find it quite calming as well because it's like the shed that they're in and everything. It's a very sort of serene place, which it's actually suits Mr. Jem's dad really well because he's like a really calm and gentle person. And I find it a nice sort of refuge, and I understand why he likes being out there and just... Because sometimes he's not actually out doing anything particular. He's just kind of like... He's just pottering about, you know, he's just guddling about, passing his time kind of thing. But that's his thing. That's what he enjoys. And I get it. And, well, obviously Mr. Jem gets it too because that's where he gets it from, his love of farming and animals and stuff. So it's kind of cool. We are going to have a big party. We're hoping that everything will be sorted by then. So we are going to have everyone here. And when I say everyone, I mean all Mr. Jem's family, because there's like a bajillion of them. He's one of 6 children. So when it's very overwhelming for me having his entire family all at one time, because in my family it's me, Mama Jem, Papa Jem, and I have a half brother who he's not, you know, he's never with us all the time. But obviously he's still my brother, but he was, you know, he was never part of our family unit 24/7. We saw him at weekends and holidays. He was always over at the weekends and holidays. But so that was kind of like the setting that I grew up in. So to have Mr. Jem's mum and dad, and then have all of his siblings and their associated other halves and whatnot, it's kind of a lot for me. And bearing in mind I'm usually here in the cave myself with the dogs on a daily basis. It's really nice to have a full house and a noisy house, but I can only cope with it in small quantities, and then I start to get a bit stressed out about it because I feel as if I don't have any privacy, and I feel like obligated to entertain people, and they, you know, they're no hassle, like none of them are demanding or anything like that. It's just like me thinking that way, and I just can't settle at all. So it's nice for short periods of time. So it'll be nice because they're only coming for the weekend for birthday celebrations, but it'll be one of those ones I'll look forward to, but I'll be glad when it's over and I can shut the door behind everybody. I'll be like, and breathe. So, but that's nice. We'll have something to look forward to because it's very rare that Mr. Jem's family are all in the one place at the same time. I think the last time that happened was probably Mr. Jem's next youngest sister when she got married. They got married the year after us, so that'll be 2 years they'll have been married by the time the birthday party comes round. So yeah, but just stressful. And then you start thinking to yourself, oh my God, how am I going to feed everybody? I would love to hear if any of you are part of really large families, or whether you have, or you know, whether you're like me and you have a partner that's got a big family and you don't. I'd be really interested to hear your experiences with that, because it's something that I've had to adjust to, and I do find it's like a double-edged sword. On one hand, I really enjoy it because I get on well with Mr. Jem's siblings as well, and it's actually quite nice to feel part of that big family sometimes. But by the same token, I'm kind of like, oh wow, when the drama, like it's the family drama I can't be doing with, and obviously the more people are involved, the more complicated it gets, and there's quite a lot of that goes on, whereas there, you know, we just don't have that on our side of the family because it's, well, there's 4 of us, so yeah, that's the kind of, I mean, there's good sides and bad sides to both, I think, but I think I'm very lucky because I get the best of both worlds. And I know that if I was ever struggling or needed anything, I could just lift the phone to one of Mr. Jem's siblings and they would, you know, they would hear me out, lend an ear or whatever. They're very welcome in that way. I'm really enjoying this cobalt turquoise. I really like this colour. And I'm just kind of layering it over the top of the purple. I'm not like deliberately blending it together. I'm just kind of like sort of swishing over the top of it here. But you can see in the areas where I've put down the cobalt turquoise before, I'm only on the second layer of pencil and it's starting to look quite even already. That's, you know, that's one of the nice things about Johanna's books is the paper quality is very consistent. You know exactly what you're getting and it is good quality as well. I have to say there aren't any pencils that I've tried in any of her books and thought, oh, you know, these pencils and this paper doesn't go together. It's just something I haven't experienced. Not too concerned about what's going on at the spine of the book here, but I just try and go as far in as possible. I'm just going to add in another couple of these sort of purpley areas. I'll go gently to begin with and we can layer it up if that's what we want to do. I was kind of like, I had sworn off Johanna colouring for a wee while there just because of my my escapades in Enchanted Forest, which I am pleased to say is completed. And you shall see the fruits of my labour very, very soon, I promise. So after I'd finished that, I was like, yeah, I really need to take a break from Johanna Basford books. I might even pick up the next pencil down, which is the Helio Turquoise. Because what I was thinking was I could maybe just put an accent on where I've got these purple parts. Sorry, blue-violet parts. They're bloody purple. You know, if I could... And I can kind of like merge that in. Blend it in, and then I could even go right in with that Helio in there. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on with my cobalt turquoise now and just bring all of this together. I'll just zoom out a wee bitty there. I really want to like build up some of this blue violet a bit more. I just feel like it's not prominent enough. And now I've got a really good layer of the cobalt turquoise, so it's really easy for me to blend in, you know, to what's already down on the paper. So just thinking about his glacier that he's standing on, I was thinking more sort of pinky purpley colours. We are going to keep the white to a degree. So I was thinking there we might go with purple violet, manganese violet, and then light magenta. That's usually light magenta. Light magenta is one of my more favoured pencils. It's a little bit shorter than the rest. So the idea here is that we take different facets and make them different colours. So I'm still going to keep the majority of this in white. So I'm just building up some layers here, but I'm leaving most of the middle uncoloured and just fading this out to the centre. And I'm trying to keep my pencil strokes going in all same direction for the moment. But you can really build up the colour, you know, around the edges. And you can even add in a little bit of texture, you know, you don't want it to be absolutely uniform all the way around. Because that would be boring. So just while we're meandering along on this glacier here, I do, although I've got it faded out up the top here, we do want our polar bear to be grounded. So I'm just going to put a little shadow under his feet. And one of the colours I like to use for this when I'm working with purples and pinks is the dark indigo. And you can layer it up with the colour of the pencil that you've actually been using. And it just gives a really nice sort of shadow effect. Because I don't want him to kind of like look as if he's just sort of, you know, floating about above the glacier. He is actually stood on it. So you're not using a completely, sorry, I keep moving this book about. You're not using a completely different colour, but you're giving a sort of muddier version of it, you know, so that really stands out. So I wouldn't bother so much with this other foot just because it's kind of tucked in behind. You can't see a huge amount going on really. Righty-ho, we're getting there. Okay, so obviously our polar bear is white, but we still have to give him a little bit of depth and dimension. So I am going to go with Cold Grey 3 and see how I get on. I might change my mind on that one. So really what we want to think about here is shadows and things, and just really to give them like a little bit of texture. So I would imagine that around this tail area we might be able to add a little bit in here. And the other colour that I'm going to grab as well is cream. Sometimes I have noticed looking at pictures of polar bears, depending on what light they're in and how clean or dirty they are, they do look a bit yellowy in places sometimes as well. So I want to use that to my advantage, and I'm thinking in the highlighted areas, so like on this leg here, just so he's not completely white. And then in the darker areas, so like in here, like in behind, in front of this little tucked in leg. And maybe have a little bit of grey in there. And we can do a little bit of grey along this line of his belly as well. Again, it's really, really subtle. Like, I'm keeping everything delicate. But if you're, if you're paying a little bit of attention, you'll be able to see that, we've done something a little bit different. But it's not really obvious that he's got 2 different coloured legs. Do you know, it's funny, I just made the assumption that this is a polar bear. It may not be a polar bear, it may be some other kind of bear. Now we've got these presents on his or her back, so I think we'll use the cold grey just to do what we did under the paws. I think the cold grey was a good choice. I'm going to give him a grey nose as well. Yeah. So that you can see I've done the less colourful things first, because I want everything else to be really, really bright and really cheery. And the first thing I'm going to do is grab myself some green, because it's my favourite colour. Phthalo green light, and I don't know why, but this pattern here, see the swirls, that screams out green box to me for some reason. So that's where we're going. So over the entire box, I'm going to slap down a layer of the phthalo green light. I'm going to give a little bit of thought here to the position of the boxes, and put in a little bit of light source type stuff. I'm not going to get overly complicated about it, but we don't want just flat colour, because that's not much fun. Okay, so let's see what we have. Phthalo green. I'll take the normal phthalo. So I've got the light I've got the light phthalo green, and I've got the dark phthalo green, so that kind of works out quite well. So I think we'll have this as the lightest side, because we do want these colours to be quite vibrant. And what I'll do is I'll use the mid-tone one just to put a little shadow here, because there's a lid on this box, and it's obviously going to sit down over the top of the box. So if I just pop that in with the darker colour there, and then I can just layer up this light phthalo. So the lid is obviously going to be the same on that side. And then for the top, I'm going to use the mid-tone. So I'll just pop this down here. And again, a bit like what's happened under here, there is a present sitting on top of that. So we'll take the dark phthalo just to put that shadow in there. And what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take my indigo pencil and lightly mark in. So now that I've got that nice dark indigo edge there, I'm going to take my darkest phthalo pencil, and I'm just going to get this section coloured in here. Okay, so you can see, the box is looking a little bit more three-dimensional now. There we go. So that's our first present all coloured in, isn't it pretty? I think what I'll do as well is, so that I don't have a whole jumble of different bits and pieces here, I think I'll reuse some of my colours. There's this little box on the top, it's really cute. And we'll just use the lightest phthalo green here. We can make the bow a different colour, that'd be cool. I think I've left a dog outside. I need to go and do a doggy count. Yeah, hang on. So I do think it's also fitting that we have a turquoisey type present as well, just to kind of like tie in with our water down the bottom here. But I don't want to make it one of the ones... I keep moving this book about. See if I just zoom out a bit. I'll get on better. There we go. I don't want to make it one of the ones that's floating in the water. So I think what we might do is make it this one over here. And then maybe this spotty one here. I'm trying to keep the colours as balanced as possible. Maybe I should make it the smaller presents, like this one here. There's like a little cylindrical present here. I wonder what's in that box. So this is the this is cobalt green. And again, I'll just take the cobalt turquoise for here because this is underneath. And what I think I'll do is I'll make this a dark line under here again, you know, just that same impression to make it look like the lid is on. It's casting a wee shadow. And I think we'll make the in-between stripes the light magenta. That would look quite nice, I think. Oh yeah. Got a bit of a thing for this spotty box. I don't know why it keeps catching my eye. Oh, the strangest things, honestly. So again, I'm going back to my my turquoisey colours here. So make sure I've got the right pencils. Oh, come on, Gem. Yeah, so cobalt turquoise on the top. Okay, so we're going to use the purples from down this part now as well. So let's try, again, I'll try and pick out, excuse me, some of the smaller ones so that they don't overwhelm. I've just realised something. I haven't put out my Christmas confetti. I even looked it out and everything and I just haven't put it out. This will not do. Pip thinks it's food. No, it's not food, Pip. It's Christmas confetti. Oh, there it is. And the dog here, obviously. There, I'm feeling more festive already. Normally I would like have it all the way around, but the pencils are there, so I've even got my festive candle out as well, but I don't have anything to light it with to hand. Oh, there we go. Ta-da! Okay. I felt as if I was kind of cheating you out of a bit of festive cheer. Sorry, everyone. Okay, let's get back to our... Where was I? Purples. I was kind of hoping that my kitchen would be finished for Christmas, and things keep going wrong. Like they literally just keep going wrong. So I'm not optimistic that that's going to happen anymore. That the entirety of this holiday is, you know, going to look completely different to normal anyway. I don't think it's worth worrying about, full stop, to be honest. I'm just not going to bother worrying too much. Oh, dagnabbit, that's the wrong... Ah. Made a mistake. Don't know where my eraser is. Where is my electric eraser? Oh, my battery's sounding sick. Okay, not great, but not the end of the world. Yeah, I used the wrong colour on the wrong side there, that was all. Make that a bit darker in there, I think, as well. It was this colour I wanted on this side. Yes, I'm really curious to hear about what's happening in other countries with, you know, with celebrating holidays this year. In the UK, and just for the record, I think they're making a massive mistake doing this, but they've allowed mixing indoors. Now at the moment it doesn't matter where you are, you're not supposed to visit other people in their homes. You can meet people outside, you know, like in an open space, but you're not supposed to visit friends or family inside their own homes because the risk of spreading COVID, if you have it, is much higher in an enclosed space. And they've decided to relax that rule for Christmas, and you're allowed to mix with up to 2 other households for a 5-day period over Christmas. I've never heard anything so ridiculous in my life. So yeah, so people basically can still have Christmas with their families. I don't want this video to get really heavy. I understand the need for people to have contact and try and have some sort of normalcy. But what are the repercussions of that going to be? As someone who's studied bugs and diseases and things, it's not going to be good. Like, there's nothing good's going to come out of this for the sake of a couple of days at Christmas. But anyway, the upshot of this is that Mama and Papa Jem will be coming for Christmas. I'm trying to decide on my next colour. I'm kind of going down this pastel route here, which is completely unintentional. If I zoom out a little bit and lift this up, I'm going to do one of these parcels down here with the sort of pinky purple that I was just using over here. Now I've left the ribbons and the bows on these just now. I think I'm going to do them in something shiny. because why not? This big present in the middle, it's winking at me. It's winking at me. So I think I will make this a bit cheerier. And I'm just going to put a light layer of that on this top part here, but we'll deal with that in a minute. So now that was dark cadmium yellow, and this is cadmium orange. So with the cadmium orange, I'm going to do this top part here. Oh, there's a tiny little bit in there that should be dark blue. I'll just get that with the indigo pencil. I can't really tell. This looks like a card, just no, because that's supposed to be a box. So I don't know what's going on in here. Like this part doesn't really make any sense in here. Now the other thing we can do as well is take our mid colour, which was the cadmium orange. And where the bow is, if we decide, the light must be coming, although it's coming from this side, it must be coming from up high for me to have put a shadow under here. So we can do the same thing with the bow. See if you just pop a wee bit of that in there. It doesn't need to be, you know, like completely standy outy, but just that little extra something. That's quite nice. Okay, so I'm going to stick with this cadmium, light cadmium red. I'm not going to stick with that. I've just been like mulling that over. I want to go like a sky blue colour. Yeah, I want to have a sky blue present. And I think I want to make it this big one. See, because it's got a snowflake on it. I'm trying to be really optimistic about the weather this year as well. Normally, around this time, our winter's quite mild, and when I say quite mild, we don't get necessarily a lot of ice or snow, and it's usually into January, and then it gets, you know, that's when it gets really, really cold and we get the ice and the snow. And I was just by saying that to someone the other day, and then and then we got the weather forecast through, and it's like -3. I'm like, oh, okay, this is it. So I'm kind of wondering whether it's started early this year, or whether that was just like a, you know, like a cold snap, like a fluke kind of thing. So as time goes on, I'm sure we'll find out. Obviously, this is now the 21st. So I will have found out by now, but yeah, I was just like, oh, come on, can you just not do something normal for the end of 2020? Like, please. So, but we were forecast snow. We never got any snow though. Everywhere round about us had snow, but we didn't. Mr. Jem went to pick up some cows, and he literally was like 20 minutes further up the road, you know, further north of here. And he FaceTimed me, and he never FaceTimes me when he's working. And he was standing on top of the hill, and it was just completely white, and he couldn't see the cows. And he's like, I'm freezing, I wish I had a padded suit on. He wears these, they're like padded all in one. I call them his romper suits. But he's got waterproof ones that are all lined and everything. They're really cosy. And he says, oh, I wish I had a padded suit on, I'm freezing. And he had to go like trailing about looking for these cows. I was like, oh, it's snowing. Unlucky. It tickled me. He wasn't too pleased about it, but it made me laugh. Okay, so in addition to sky blue, I've got some light ultramarine here, and I usually get these two mixed up in the, you know, when they're in the pencil case, because they're very, very similar in barrel colour, but when you actually put them on the paper, they're different. They are different. I'm kind of struggling with the way Johanna has drawn these parcels in. Like, I can't explain it. I'm just trying to work out in my head like how they're sitting on each other in a 3D. They look very 2D. Is what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to make them less 2D, but I'm not doing a very good job of it. So that's made that look as if this top parcel's sitting out over the edge, like it's protruding from the one underneath, so that's fine. And I suppose I better do the same, because like, I don't understand what's going on here either. I'm not very good with stuff like that though. Not sure. I need a darker colour. I've got light ultramarine. I don't really want ultramarine because it looks really like purpley. I think I'm going to go cobalt blue. This kind of puts me in mind on, you see it on kids' toy boxes sometimes. I don't mean that kind of toy box. Like the cardboard cartons that kids' toys sometimes come in, and they've got a flap on the front of them, and you lift them up to, you know, look at the toy inside. I think that's what this is supposed to be, like something to that effect. So I'm going to make the assumption that that's what it is. Righty-ho, so my camera cut out there. I have coloured in this spherical gift, and the colours that I used for that was pink carmine and magenta. And I'm going to do this gift down here the same, but I needed to pick out a mid-tone because the magenta and the pink carmine are, they're like really far apart in colour. So I've also picked out a madder now, and I'm going to use that as the mid-tone. So this is the pink carmine on this side, and I'm going to put the madder on this side. I was just saying that Pip's pacing about today. She's really bored. They didn't get out yesterday for a WALK because it was absolutely horrendous. So needless to say, she's very, very restless today. But I will be taking them OUT as soon as I have finished filming this. They don't know that, but but I know that. I say Pip especially, she's just like pacing about the house like, oh, I'm so bored. You know, like a stroppy child that's that bored that they don't want to do anything anymore. This is what Pip's like. Jock's asleep in his spot under the drawing board where he usually is. He's quite content. He's getting too old to care about stuff like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I keep going to say madder, I've just used the madder, the magenta, and on the dark side here, kind of like I did with this parcel next door, I'm just going to go over that with the magenta just to darken it down a little bit more. I really just want a magenta present. Can I have just a magenta? This one, look, this one's only one side. It's, you know, it's really square on apart from the, I'm going to have to fix this bow situation. I just want a magenta present. Is there something wrong with that? Now that my background's dry, this is curled up really, really badly. It'll be fine once it goes flat. I kind of forgot about his stars here as well. I'll need to do them. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Right, I think we'll mix things up a little bit here. So I'm going to take some of the colours that I have been using. I think we've introduced enough new colours in this pile here. So I'm just going to grab one at random, which is the phthalo green. Phthalo. And I'm going to use that for these stripes here. Okay, and so let's go with we'll go back to what we're just using. So here's the pink carmine. See, now I kind of want to make this gift match this gift, which is annoying. I might do it the opposite way round though. So yeah, I think we would have the top part of the lid here anyway, green rather than the pink this time, and have I like that idea. Do this first. This is what I love about doing stuff like this. Like, sometimes it's nice not to plan out what you're doing and just see where your eyeballs and your brain take you, and that's kind of what's happened today, which is good. I like it like that. With a picture like this, obviously it's good to have a loose framework and know what you want to do, but you don't necessarily need to plan every colour down to the nth degree. I always find it's a little bit more enjoyable, you know, just kind of like loosen up a wee bit. Right, for these two boxes, I'm just going to use the indigo. I have to turn this to do this so I get a nice straight line. Just like that little shadow where the lid overlaps. Yeah. Right, okay, this one here, I'm going to make a dark blue. So I've got Prussian blue here. Oh. I'm not being too careful around these other bits because I'm going to be doing those in something different. Okay, I'm going to colour in this tag here as well. So I'm going to grab my cream and I'm going to give that a little dusting of that. And then I'm going to take this dark cadmium yellow, is it Naples? No, cadmium. And just add in a little bit around the edge and then we'll blend that out a bit. Okay, so I've got a bluish turquoise here as well, which I'm just going to use for this end section. See where that's been folded over. Polar bear's got pretty good balance, hasn't he? Holding up all these presents. I'll just do the rest of these labels. And we've also got our little robin down here as well. So I want like a more of a true red for him, for his red breast. So I'm going to find deep scarlet. Right, so we're going to colour in this wee Robin's red breast here. With, you know, with things this size, I'm not going to take a long time fussing over what colours to use and, you know, blah blah blah, because quite frankly it's very, very small, you know, he's only dinky. So let's grab a raw umber. So I'll go quite lightly round his wee face, and then when we come down his back here, we can maybe put a few more layers in. Okay, so just to tie things in again now, I'm back to this red, which is the deep scarlet red that I've used on our little robin down here. And I'm going to use this as the background colour for our polar bear's scarf. Can't beat a good scarf and a good hat in the cold weather. I'm not a gloves person. My hands are always really, really warm. And so when I put gloves on, I just get like really sweaty hands really quickly. So I never bother with gloves, but I do like a good hat, especially. I like to wear hats anyway, but especially when you're, you know, if you're outside doing whatever it is you're doing, having a really good quality woolly hat on works wonders, especially for your poor ears. So I'm trying to have a wee bit of shade in here, but I'm not. You know, I'm having it paler towards this side, obviously, because we decided that there was something coming from over here. So I'm kind of bearing that in mind, but I'm not really. Do you know what? I'm trying to go around these snowflakes. I don't need to be doing that. I'm just going to go straight over the top of them. Oh, goodness me. I'm trying to make things more complicated than they need to be here, guys. Pip's starting to bug me now. She's still pacing about. She can't settle at all. So I think for the kind of patterned parts of this scarf, I'm going to go with the traditional green and gold idea. I've got a gold gel pen that I like to use. I'll just grab it so it can show you, and it's the the Uniball Signo. This is the broad tip one, but it's not like huge chunky. It will be fine for what I need it for here. And I use this surprisingly quite a lot, and there's actually not much ink left in this one at all. Yeah, that's how much ink I've got left. And this is my third one of these in, well, since 2016. So that's fairly heavy use, considering I don't really use stuff like that, but clearly I do. That's what I'm going to do with that, and I'm going to kind of tie that in with the gifts, because I'll use the gold pen on some of the bows on the gifts as well, and try and keep everything cohesive but still looking fairly interesting at the same time. This looks like, from a distance, it looks like a really simple picture, and there's a surprising amount in it, and you don't realise that. And I think it's because there's this big wide open space here. People think, oh, it's a really simple colouring page, and when in reality there's lots going on with all your little labels and, you know, things like that. So to grab our green, and I want to go for, I think maybe juniper green. I was going to go pine green, but I think pine green will be too dark green. I love green pencils. So I think with this one I'll do what I did up here, and I'll have just like sort of alternating shading in the sections here. So one's dark to light, you know, top to bottom, and the other one is the opposite way around. And they're just an interesting little gradient you can do that's not, you know, overly complicated or anything, but a little bit of variety, hey? So let's go with the gold. Oh well, my gel pens just do not want to play today, and I don't know why. This is just not cool at all. I would also really like to ask Mr. Polar Bear why he's got stars on his backside. I'm curious about that. Has he been watching like My Little Pony and getting jealous or something? Okay, so originally, before I covered it up with paint, there was tassels on the ends of this scarf, and I'm going to put those back in right at the very end because we've still got the background to do, so we'll do that first. And then the other thing is I've got to give Robin his legs back as well. He's lost his legs in the background, so we'll do them again. I'll probably do them in white. So yeah. Okay, lovely, jubbly. So he's got a very, very, very festive scarf on. Very festive scarf. Okay, right, so I'm basically just going to go round and do all the bows and everything, so I'll not bore you with that. I'll get a little bit of that done, and then we can start on our, but I'll need to do these as well. Okay, so we'll do stars and then we can do our background. Okay, I've realised that I didn't do the dots on this one, and I've decided I don't want metallic anything on this. So I'm going to give it a green bow. I just felt if I gave this gold, it would, it would blend in with the actual parcel. And I just think the silver is really wishy-washy next to it, so I decided that maybe we should do this. So I'm just using light green here all over it, and then I'm going to take a darker green. In fact, I'll probably just use the juniper because it's here, and then I can start just making this look a little bit more interesting. I'm trying to decide whether the stars on his bottom would be silver or gold. I think they would be silver. We've given him a grey nose and a grey, like, ear inside, you know what I mean? So I think we will go with silver here. I just feel as well that, polar bears are white for a reason. I think if they had ruddy, great big gold stars on their bums, then, that might not really fit with that aesthetic. But as I said before, like, depending on the light, sometimes you look at polar bears and their fur looks really yellow, and other times it looks really blue. So I don't know, maybe gold stars on your behind would be better. I'm not sure about that at all. Any input on that underneath, please feel free. Leave a comment. I read somewhere once as well, and I don't know whether it's a load of tosh or whether there's any truth in it, but apparently polar bears tend to be left-handed rather than right-handed. Like the ratio of left to right-handed polar bears is the opposite way around to humans, which I find quite interesting, but I don't know how much truth there is in it. Okay, so let's decide what we're doing here. I think we'll have some gold in this one. I'm trying to keep my hand away from here until this is dry. I don't know how I feel about these. I'm assuming that these are supposed to be like, the flower-shaped ones here. I mean, I'm assuming they're supposed to be like the sort of sticky, like, pre-done bows you can buy in the shops. In fact, I'm sure for Cavemas last year I drew one of them, the ones I was talking about. They're all like folded in themselves. They're like a rosette kind of thing. If I can find that video, I will link it down in the description. I'm pretty sure I did that for Cavemas last year at some point. Or might even have been the first Cavemas. I don't know anymore. This is like the third Cavemas. Yeah, completely forgot about the pattern on this blue gift here. Oh, why are you waggling about? So once that gel pen is dry, I will fix that in there. And I'm going to use the green, like I did for the parcel down the bottom, for this big one in the middle. This round one kind of reminds me of the Lindor chocolate balls. And they do a giant one now, and the giant one's just a big plastic one that's full of lots of little ones, and it's very expensive, but my dad absolutely loves them. So does Mr. Jem, actually. Like, they do mint ones. I like mint flavoured things. I don't really have a sweet tooth, but I like mint flavoured things. And they started doing mint Lindor. So I'm kind of into that. I would have one of them, but I wouldn't, like, kill you for one. But if they were going, I would have one. Mr. Jem and Papa Jem would, they would chase after you and cut you down to get one. So at Christmas time, I normally buy them a little box each. I don't buy one of the great big plastic ones. I'm aware of you that some of you will have no idea what I'm talking about, so I'm going to try and find an image and I'll pop it up here to show you what I'm talking about, and I'll try and get an image of the giant one as well, so that you also know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay, right, so let's do this one in the middle. I'm not quite sure what colour I want to do these come on, Jem. I'm not sure what colour I want to do the pattern. That's what I was trying to get out. Okay, so anyway, the bow. Let's talk about the bow. I'm going to use the same colours as before, so I've got my light green here. And we'll graduate that out. Like, this is the fun of coloured pencils, all the blending and the layering. And if you've got loads of wee itty bitty bits, like tiny little bits, it kind of takes away from that. I don't like that much. I'd love to know how you guys feel about stuff like that. Same with the top. There probably would be a little bit there where the fabric's gathering for the bow. One would imagine. And then under there is going to be pretty dark as well, where the giant lint ball's sitting on it. I'm quite happy with the bow situation. That's pretty good. I think I'm just going to use this light green here, but very lightly, like super light. So we've done our colouring now, and I want to just add in the background, so I'm going to clear up these pencils. So looking at the size of the area, I decided not to go with pastel pencils, but instead to go with some soft pastel. You can use pastel sticks for this. I have got pan pastels here, so I'm just going to use a cotton bud to do the doing. And I've got it's like the pale pastel tints here, so there's quite a nice pink one there and a green one. I think that's going to be a bit excessive. And the blue one. I thought there was like a yellowy one. I think I'm looking in the wrong... Oh, it's right beside me on the other side here. This one. So I thought even just those, I might not use all of them. But basically... What I want to do is, it's not like a Northern Lights, but there's clearly like something exciting going on in behind here. And I just want to show that there's some light coming from somewhere. And it may be magical light, it may not be magical light. So we can work away at this. Oh my goodness, the sun has come out. I didn't think that was possible. Look, sunlight, wow. Haven't seen that for about 3 weeks. And I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. This is ironic, the only time we get some sunlight and I'm going to have to shut it out. And I've not added any more pastel to this, I'm just shoving about the pastel that's already down. And this was why I wanted to use the acrylic paint, because the pastel just slides over it. It's amazing for that. So I think I might have to do the same sort of idea on this side. And then I can overlap with some of the other colours. Looks like he's got like a little, you know these nice little lit up water features you see with it? It looks like. There's only so far I can go here because, polar bear's in the way, but that's okay. Yeah, so I feel as if there's like, this is really kind of putting the spotlight on the bear and, making him look like the centrepiece. So, it's just a bit of fun for a background, because that is a lot of empty space in this page. And, I just feel like it needed a little something. And I'm also going to give the robin back his legs in white so that we can see that he's actually attached to something. And I think I'll maybe do a mixture of Posca and the gel pen, just so I can get some different thicknesses. Oh, look how cute! I don't need a gel pen. Okay guys, I am going to call this done, I think. I'm quite pleased with how it's turned out. And I have to say, I am feeling slightly more festive, especially now that I've got my Christmas confetti out. I'd love to know if you're colouring some festive pages, or whether that is just not your thing and you're colouring something completely different. So just to wrap things up for this very first day of Cavemas, it is giveaway time. Now the prize for today is a great way to start us off, because it gives people freedom and that's what we like. So on offer today for our Cavemas giveaway, I have 2 Amazon vouchers for the value of 10 Great British pounds, so about 12-ish US dollars. We will have 2 winners, obviously. You must have an Amazon account and you must be willing to give me your email address so that I can get your prize to you. It is a digital gift card, so it's open worldwide. And all you have to do is tell me down in the comments which book you would like to see me colour in next year. That's it. So put your answer down in the comments and you will be automatically entered into the giveaway draw for a chance to win a £10 Amazon voucher. These can be used at any Amazon site around the world. It doesn't have to be used on Amazon UK. So if that's something that you're into, get your thinking caps on and let me know what you think down in the comments. Right, right guys, that's us. We are all done for today. Good luck if you're entering the giveaway, and we will see you back in the cave tomorrow for another Cavemas video. So have a nice festive evening, and I shall see you all later. Bye for now, everyone.